Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So this channel is all about forensic science, and in this video we are going to learn about what is forensic science, its history, and some important scientists who contributed to establishment of forensic science along with its branches of forensic science. Now let's begin with mainly what is forensic science? So, forensic science is the application of science to the criminal and civil laws enforced by the agency in a criminal justice system. Means we apply scientific techniques or the methods in a criminal justice system means to solve crimes. So this the term forensic is derived from the Latin word forensis, which means open court or public, means a place where people meet and exchange ideas. Now let's see the history and development of forensic science. We can broadly classify the history and development of forensic science in four categories. They are the early years, the 80s, the 90s, and the 21st century. Now let's see the early years. So the beginning or recorded in 700s when the Chinese used fingerprints to establish the identity of documents and clay sculpture, and few scientific advances in 1248 in a book His Dion Yu, means the washing away of wrongs, which was published by the Chinese. And then they described distinguished future of drowning from strangulation, and it was first recorded application of medical knowledge to solve a crime. And then coming to 1609, first treatise on systematic document examination was published in France. And then in 1784, first documented use of physical matching, which Englishman convicted of murder based on torn pieces of a wad of newspaper in a pistol that matched a piece remaining in his pocket. Next, the 1800s. This period of time brings substantial progress. In this period, first recorded use of question document analysis was done. To test the check presence of blood was also developed along with the blood comparison. First use of toxicology in a jury trial, which is arsenic detection, was done, and the first crystal test for hemoglobin using Heman crystals, which was first microscopic crystal test using Heman test in 1853 by Ludwig Teichmann, and the first use of photography for identification of criminals and their documentation. And in the year 1843 to 44, first use of photographs, and Alphonse Bertillon used this. And the fingerprint was used to solve crime, and the first microscopic use of comparison bridge was also done in these years. Next, coming to the 1900s, the forensic specialists were self-taught because there were no formal forensic science education was existed, because the school and colleges were not offering this course and training. The establishment of forensic science in curriculum in 1902 by Swiss professor R.A. Ries at University of Lausanne, Switzerland. He was the first man to establish the forensic science as a discipline. And in the year 1950, the University of California at Berkeley established one of the first academic department of criminology and American Academy of Forensic Science in Chicago. And the use of comparison microscope for a bullet comparison was done. And in the year 1931, absorption illusion ABO blood typing technique was started. In 1935, invention of first interference contrast microscope was done by Dutch physicist Fritz Zirink, and he won Nobel Prize for that in 1953. Development of luminal and the study of voice prints also started in this year. And then use of headspace technique for arson cases, and the development of SEM, which is scanning electron microscope, and the electron dispersion X-ray technique was also done. Evaluation if gas chromatography and mass spectroscopy in forensic purpose was done. Development of PCR for clinic and forensic application was done in 1900. Now, the century which we are living, that is the 21st century. Now, the science of forensic is recognized as a critical ingredient in law enforcement. It is developing and maturing day by day because it has a constant development and improvement of forensic technique. The old methods which are being used are refined and advanced in technology and getting more improved. Now let's move forward to the important scientists who contributed in establishment of forensic science. First, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He popularized the technique before it applied by police agencies through his fictional characters, which is Sherlock Holmes. And then Matthew Orfila, who is the father of forensic toxicology, and in the year 1814 he published first scientific detection of poisoning and their effect on animals. And then Alphonse Bertillon, first scientific system of personal identification, which was known as anthropometry, which is systematic procedure of taking body measurement for personal identification. This system is replaced by fingerprints in early 1900s. Then Francis Galton, he was the first definitive study of fingerprint and method to classify them for filing. And in the year 1892 he published a book called Fingerprints. Lennon Lattis, he devised a simple procedure to identify blood group of dried blood stain. Dr. Lattis, a professor of forensic medicine in Italy. Next, Calvin Goddard, the father of ballistic. He used comparison microscope to determine if bullet fired from a specific gun. Goddard was an army colonel who published his work called Tool Mark on Bullets. Albert S. Osborne developed a fundamental principle of document examination, and he was responsible for the acceptance of document as scientific evidence by the court of law. In 1910, Sir Osborne authorized the scientific test in the field named question documents. Hans Gross. Hans Gross wrote the first treatise describing the application of scientific discipline to the field of criminal investigation in 1893. He published a book later in English named Criminal Investigation. And then Edmond Locard. He did not make a specific technical contribution, but he believed that when a person comes in a contact with an object or a person, a cross transfer of material occurs, which is a special law known as Locard's principle of exchange. Now, coming to the final part of this video is the branches of forensic science. Forensic science is a big term that covers many sections and professions under it. First, forensic toxicology. This branch deals with the study of poisons, drugs, and chemicals in crimes. It focuses on detecting toxic substances in biological samples and determining their effects in criminal cases such as poisoning, drug overdoses, or substance abuse. Forensic biology. This branch involves DNA analysis, blood examination, and the study of bodily fluids. It helps in identifying individuals through biological evidences like hair, saliva, blood, or other fluids found at crime scene. Forensic chemistry involves analyzing explosives, drugs, and unknown substances to detect and identify chemical evidences in crimes. Digital forensic focuses on the investigation of cybercrime and electronic evidences such as hacking, digital fraud, and data recovery. Next, forensic anthropology, which helps in identifying human remains through skeletal analysis, useful in cases of mass disaster or unidentified bodies. Forensic odontology, which deals with the examination of dental evidences for identification, particularly in cases where bodies are burned or decomposed. Forensic pathology conduct autopsies to determine the cause and the manner of death in a suspicious cases. Next, forensic ballistics studies bullets, firearms, and gunshot residue to determine details about weapon used in crimes. Forensic entomology uses insect activity on decomposed bodies to estimate the time of death. Forensic document examination analyzes handwriting, signatures, and forged documents to detect fraud or authenticity. Then, forensic psychology, which involves criminal profiling and assessing a suspect's mental state. Forensic engineering investigates structural failures, accidents, or explosions to determine the cause. Then, forensic botany that studies plants and pollen to link suspects or location to criminal cases. Each of these fields contribute significantly to solving crimes by providing scientific evidences. That's it for today's videos. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more forensic content. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay forensic.